Hi, folks. Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with AstrologyMojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. And if you're new to me, what I say is that the planets in astrology don't do anything to you. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos. So let's look at it like this, as we're going to talk about retrogrades. I only included 3, but we're going to talk about a few more. And that is the planets. We exist in harmony with all things. Well, harmony is the ideal, and we don't always get there. But we exist with a physical realm, and everything outside of us mirrors our vibration. So when we look through the lens of astrology and we say, oh, Mars and Mercury are conjunct, better be careful. You don't want to, argue over something that is unimportant, or you don't want to, trip on your toes and bump into somebody when it's passive aggressive. And so, but some people would look at astrology and say, Mars is conjunct Venus, Mars is conjunct Mercury, and that means that planet is telling you, no, it's not. No, it isn't. It's reflecting something about you, but it's not making you do anything. Please understand that. We're in who's heard of the phrase, oh, come say hello to me. We're in an age where people are talking about the dimensions, right? 3rd dimension, 4th dimension, 5th dimension, ascension process. Who understands what I'm talking about? That is becoming conscious. That's what it's about, becoming conscious. And you're going to go through waves of feelings that prompt you to go to extremes. But really what's happening, I mean, if you're starving yourself and you're only eating potato chips and drinking beer all day, your body's going to rebel. And you'll have episodes that have nothing to do with ascension. It's more to do with your biological needs not being met. So once you have the basics covered, you're well fed, you drink pure, clean water, you are resting, you have shelter, you have self-love, and therefore you attract others to you with that love to validate you. You've got the basics covered. Then once there, realize that the cleaner your body, and there's no judgment. You want to do a thing, have some sugar, whatever, it's fine. Do whatever you want. But when I'm talking about rising to your ultimate limits, and we look through the lens of astrology, we must always go backwards in time. And that's what the retrogrades are about. So that's what we're going to look at today. Because if something keeps coming back around, it literally, I just sent out an email to my list, and it's like watching a movie and you put it on rewind and go, wait, what just happened? I don't remember that actor being in this movie. When did that happen? Where was I when that was happening? So you can look at, or that scene, I don't remember that happening. When did that happen? So you can look back over your life and kind of apply the same principle and say, when I look at my past, my husband and I were just talking about this this morning. When I look at my past, I realize the slow, steady climb of feeling better, having more accomplishments, not being so, sign that petition and that's, we're going to quell the judgments, because when we talk about retrogrades in astrology, people will say, uh-oh, be careful. Mercury's retrograde. Don't say that. Don't sign that contract. Venus is retrograde. Your old lover's going to come back. Well, if you are vibing something and you're not aware of it in your conscious self, you will attract something to you that can equal that definition. Oh my God, as soon as Venus went retrograde, yep, I suddenly felt the need to stalk my old boyfriend or whatever, but it's not the planet that's doing it. It's you. Oh, baby, it's you. So let's talk about that. I want to show you what it looks like astrologically. And so here we are. I advanced the date We are today August 17th, but we're going to be looking at August 30th, just shy of a week where Jupiter will be going retrograde. But right now we have Pluto. Oh, let me do it like this. We have Pluto is trining Mercury by August 30th. This is happening now anyway, but it's even when Mercury goes retrograde on the 23rd. It's going to be trining. That's a positive aspect. That tells me people's past behavior is now in the forefront. Their own. You could look and go, oh, wow, that person never changed. They never did this. And that's why they're miserable. Well, we're not going to be talking about other people. Just look in the mirror. Oh, wow. I see that every time this person says or does or doesn't say or doesn't do, I have this reaction or I have this response or lack of response. You know, me personally, I've been very passive over the years. I'm very proactive when it comes to my work, but in personal relationships, it's like, that's who you want to be. That's who you want to be. I see the brighter side of you. That's what I'm going to look at. But yet I don't realize that not having set a boundary to that behavior, I kept attracting it. I don't anymore. And that's only in the past year. And I've been doing this work for ever. So when I welcome retrogrades, people are like, no, I got to hide under the closet, under the closet, hide under the carpet, hide in the closet. No, what you need to do is pay attention to exactly what you need in the moment, because what's going to come at you and we're in the pre-shadow phase of Mercury in retrograde, and the pre-shadow phase of any planet going retrograde. And first of all, planets don't go backwards. They don't. We're on a trajectory around the sun and on an oval spiral shape. So it's going to look like we're like a horse race. It's like, oh, and here comes Saturn and she's gaining on Earth. And no, there she goes. She's gone retrograde. She's not going backwards. Earth is moving at a different trajectory. That's all. And so it looks like the planets are going backwards. It just looks at from the perception and perspective of planet Earth looking out. That's what you see. But that in astronomy, we calculate retrograde motion. It's a thing, right? It's like, hey, what's happening to Mars? Why is it going that way? But in astrology, we ascribe definitions to it. So what's the definition of you with a Neptune in retrograde? Here's Neptune in Pisces retrograde, and it is opposing Mercury. And so when we see that, but yet we have, so that's like oh, it feels uncomfortable. Oh my gosh. My right hand's doing something my left hand knows nothing about. Or I just attracted something to me that I was not expecting. And it blew my mind. Or I was so disillusioned by that. I trusted that person and I just found out that they cheated on me. What the heck? So, or you're in your own world, because when you look in that inner mirror and you see that part of you that's not doing what you want to be doing, you get frustrated. You could get passive. There's so many definitions based on a individual chart or a person's actions. But then Pluto is also trining Uranus, which by the 30th, and here are the dates, which by the 30th is retrograde. So we've got Pluto retrograde right now. Saturn is retrograde June 17th through November 4th. So it's been retrograde. And that's taking a look at who's the boss of me? What are my responsibilities really? How about just the ability to respond to the moment that you're in? That's it. Oh, that's so easy. Next, we're going to check that box. Pluto's been retrograde since June 30th and will be until December 6th. So during that time frame, you're going to go to core with your issues. Like, oh, if I forget to eat, someone says, if I forget to eat, I crash. And then I reestablish all those bad behaviors. I get antsy, I get frustrated, I yell, it's self-harm, whatever it is. So when you recognize these things, your job is to just be present and say, yeah, I'm not going to go the old way. That's when you start to change neurons. That's when it feels like a struggle. But you're not resisting. You're just witnessing. You're observing. You're observing. Because how many times you tell someone, please clean up your room, and they don't, well, then it's a lack of effective communication. It's a lack of control. It's an abundance of frustration because you're not getting what you want, but you cannot control anyone else. What you can control is how you feel and your perceptions. Now, yeah, we got to get stuff done. But during these retrogrades, it's important to go in and meditate. You know, I say meditation, people are like, oh, please, I don't have the time. Okay. That's okay. It's going to stay the same because what you're doing is you're altering brain chemistry. You're altering the chemicals in your body. And that's when you have these shadow phase, as I was talking about, just as the planet from perspective Earth is going into retrograde motion. That's when you have representation of you, that aha moment that was a glimpse of, oh, wait a second. Every time that person or that thing happens, I do this. What if it were different? What if nothing were wrong? What if I decided to feel more confident in that moment or tell the truth? Some people are dishonest with themselves and therefore dishonest with others, not maliciously. It's just something we do. We hide. And when I look at ascension process in astrology, you are ascending to become your rising sign. You're ascendant. That's why it's called the ascendant. So if you know your rising sign, and if your sun sign and rising sign are the same, then you're going through a cyclical aha in many moments because you realize, oh, I did that to myself. I created that. How can I be the better version of that? When you're any sun sign, opposite or different than your rising sign, you say, this is who my theme is. That's my sun sign. And my rising sign is who I'm ascending toward. That's what you recognize more during retrograde periods. So let's just cover it. Venus is retrograde until September 3rd. We covered that in some previous live shows. Now, on August 23rd, Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Virgo. And August 28th, Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. So here's Uranus. August 23rd, August 28th, and then September 4th, Jupiter goes retrograde. But I wanted to show you this trine between Uranus, Mercury, and Pluto for this month before we move into the next phase with Jupiter going retrograde. And so when we have these retrograde planets, it's basically, we look at the definition of the planet itself and say, oh, okay, Pluto's retrograde. I really need to go to the shore of my unconscious self and recognize my behavior that emanates from fear. That's it. Call it whatever you want. Obstinance, arrogance, insecurity, procrastination. There's little moments that we have that equal fear. Now, there's nothing wrong with those moments. Procrastination is a delay. That's why retrogrades are associated with delays. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, does it? Because if you need to just step back and take a breath, take a knee, and just let me think about that person, that invitation, that what does my gut say? That's when you're facing that inner self and saying, yeah, you know what? I always say no. Or I'm not comfortable in large groups, but I've never said that. I've never communicated that. So these aha moments are tiny, but they're quantum, big leap, because they help to alter the way you think from that moment forward. Does that make sense? Come say hello to me. We're talking about retrograde planets, especially Neptune, Saturn, and Mercury, but we're going to talk about Uranus as well and Jupiter. But so the next planet that goes retrograde, and is Saturn, is June 17th of this year, 23 through November 4th, where it goes into direct motion. So when Pluto, core of unconsciousness. Mercury, we're going to talk at length about that, so I'll save that for a little bit. Saturn's in Pisces retrograde. What do I really want? How do I want to do it? Who's the boss of me? When do I deny myself gratification? How do I associate with authority? Do I see myself as an authority? Do I have issues with authority figures? Why is that? And again, it's this mishmash of feelings and excuses that we create around our behavior so that we can feel safe. It comes up all the time, whether it's retrograde or not. Okay, and then we've got Neptune, June 30th through December 6th, and Neptune retrograde in Pisces. You know, before we, in 2024, Neptune will be moving into the constellation of Aries. That's going to be the zealot phase, the extremists phase, the preaching to the choir phase, the people trying to convert you phase. But for now, we're recognizing what we really believe energetically, what feels magical. And can I do that without medication or a substance? Can I get to that high without drinking wine? Can I face my fears or insecurities without chewing a bunch of edibles? Can I, or the opposite, and that is I'm ready to go deeper. I've just, with doctor's help, gone off all my medications, but I really want to go deeper and have a shamanic experience, psilocybin, ketamine, that is monitored. And so you start to explore these avenues of what's the next dimension? What does that feel like? And why am I so afraid to live my life? Why am I stuck in a job that I hate? Because, I really wanted to be a painter or a metal sculptor or a writer. And then you get to that place because maybe you've advanced that much. Maybe you're that present. And then you say, yeah, but they don't want on Amazon. They won't take that. They don't. And all the negatives come up because Neptune represents cynicism and negativity. The woe is me. So you just want to look at what part of you is really coming out right now. Which part of you is showing on the retrograde parade. And then May 1st to October 11th, Pluto is retrograde. So that'll be gone soon. So now I'm going to fast forward this a bit. I hope this is making sense. Just let me know. Come say hello to me while we talk about the retrogrades, and then I will pull a happy little universal deck. And come join me at the end of the month on the 31st, I believe, is my next time here. Yes. And I will be doing a full moon, Pisces full moon oracle reading. Okay. So now we're going to move forward just a wee bit. Isn't that fun? We move through time. La, 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 la. We'll talk more about Mercury and retrograde in just a second. I want Jupiter to be going retrograde. And that'll be on the 4th, I believe, or the 5th. Are we there? Not yet. Are we there yet? There it is. Okay. So now we have, by September 4th, we have, depending on where you are in the world, could be the late of the 3rd, early of the 5th. So we've got Jupiter in Taurus retrograde. We've got Uranus in Taurus retrograde. And it's going to be trining Saturn. What am I saying? It's going to be trining. Where is Saturn? Oh, that's what I want to talk about too, because I have that in my notes. It's going to be trining Mercury. And Mercury, again, is about your perceptions. It's not about talking. Eventually, yes, talking, writing, speaking, teaching, learning, all that stuff. But it's about your beliefs. And it's about changing those belief systems that don't serve you anymore. And if you're going down a very narrow road, your choices will diminish. And what I mean by that is some people say, nope, not going to do that. Nope, not going to change. I got that person's going to take care of me, and that's it. My mother used to say to me all the time, ever since I was a kid, to me and my sister, yeah, when I'm old and gray, I'm not going into a nursing home. You and your sister will take care of me. You and your sister will take care. So it was like we grew up going, all right, she doesn't want to go to a nursing home. She made that clear, abundantly clear 50 years ago. And she did not go into a nursing home. And my sister and I took care of her. So, but what if we chose not to? It's like she had created this narrow scope of what it's going to look like. That in a way is its own type of manifesting. Everything's a manifestation, but look at who you are now, what you believe, and where you want to take that belief. Because if you come from expansion, Jupiter represents your need to expand, travel, write, publish, speak a different language, get into different cultures, be magnanimous and generous. And in the sign of Taurus, it's like really building toward your future, building something of value that you can call your own, whether it's another room in your house or a portfolio, so that you explore your financial options and cut away all the things that are draining you. And that might mean people, because when Uranus right now, by September 4th, is at an outside conjunction. So it's going to be like sudden moments of ahas, like, I can't believe I've been supporting that person financially or emotionally or intellectually, and I've gotten nothing back. My ROI on investment has been zilch. I have to do something. And so Uranus represents that revolutionary stage of something. And so it might be you cut the ties, or they cut the ties with you because you're not resonating the same anymore, and you go this way. It's already could have happened to you. But as we get closer to the Jupiter in retrograde, you're going to explore that and examine, oh, that didn't work for me. Or you make a sudden declaration like, I really want to feel financially abundant. I want to invest some money in something. And you start asking, is it Bitcoin? Is it Hex? Is it real estate? Is it, some financial mutual fund? This is when you start to do the research. It's a great time of research, especially when retrograde planets are in abundance. Because when we have a trine, which is a positive angle to Mercury, we are perceiving in Virgo, we are perceiving what will help me to flourish while I'm grounded and practical, but also give me that I'm going to save money for a trip, Jupiter. Or I'm going to save money to become a pianist, musician, Uranus, electric energy, currency. I am going to change my profession. That's like that sudden right move where you say, yeah, I'm done. I want a divorce. And you're like, what? What just happened? We haven't even discussed. What are you talking about? So a lot of energy is going to build during these time frames, but especially now through September, you're going to see a lot of the old start to fade away. And the old meaning, what a relief. I don't want to do this anymore. Well, gosh, if I could be honest with myself, I really thought that my relationship with you was over 10 years ago. Why didn't we say anything? Why didn't we talk about it? Because we get stuck in familiar patterns. Again, your neurons are telling you, oh no, be safe. Let it be familiar. Even if it hurts, even if it sucks, you just got to stay the course, because here comes the fear. What happens if you change? What if? So I want you to start thinking in ways that help you to feel the vibration. Mercury perception. Uranus is a vibration, and Jupiter is the expansion of that. And then we come down to Pluto with another trine between Uranus and Pluto. And that's just, people are looking at you like you've lost your mind. And maybe you have. And maybe it's the part of your mind you don't need anymore. Ta-da. And that can be very freeing. So I hope this is helping. We're just going to do a card on how to handle. Oh, this is a great one that just came out. How to handle these retrogrades. Because if you're looking to make a big ticket purchase, let's talk practical, financial, real stuff. Your perception might be, here's a perfect example when we talk about perception and beliefs, being practical, yet designing something for your future, Virgo, and also cultural affairs and helping community. How else can you help the community? And we've got this amazing trine energy, which means we are ready for the next step. We're ready for the evolutionary scale, whatever that means to you personally or collectively. Maybe you're about to head up an organization that will help to put electricity in third world countries, or you're just donating some cash, or you're finding that, wait a second, I just found this out. I was about to hit the click button for go ahead on a GoFundMe for someone's cause. And then I read the fine print and I declined because I found another way to give to them. Because GoFundMe was going to charge me $30. I take $30 out of my donation for their fees. And I was like, no, there's a better way. There's got to be a better way. I'm going to manifest a better way. Let's create a better way. And then I found, oh gosh, I wasn't even thinking of talking about it, but setup. Nope, that's not it. I will find out what it's called. It's like Spot Fund or something like that. And I checked them out and they're legit and they take zero fee. That is their gift and they're sponsored. So they don't need your money. So there are other ways to find ways to give without breaking the bank, right? Okay. So then my husband yesterday said, you know, he's been talking about this for months. And he said, I can't really hear what's happening on the television. And we readjust all the computer stuff and the speakers on the wall and it's not working. And he said, I think we need to get a new receiver. And that is a Uranus energy. And because it deals with vibration, electricity, currency, whether it's money or your personal currency or electrical currency or musical currency or anything dealing with space and technology. And he said, you know, I'm going to go research that. Okay, I'm happy. That's his way of saying we're going to up our vibe when we watch our, you know, Lord of the Rings, or we want to be able to hear it and hear what they're saying and enjoy the next level. So it can be that simple. It doesn't have to be lofty. All right. So detachment was the card that I picked and I just shuffled it back into the deck while I was chatting. Oh, forgive me. But it was detachment. So we have to let go of our expectations of it being the same as it was before. I want you to have a healthy expectation that your needs will be met. Just stay present in the moment, feel what you're feeling, and you're going to create this vibration of more. Oh my gosh, that just came to me. Or you get a phone call and you're like, I can't believe the boss wants me to partner, you know, with what? Oh my God, you know, and it's, well, if you're honest, I mean, it's lovely to feel that humble because usually that's when stuff comes, when you're not expecting it. But you don't want to put yourself down on the process and say, well, you know, I have worked toward this. I have worked hard. And then you're not going to work hard anymore. You're going to work in present moment towards something that gives you great joy. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Doing a crossword puzzle, baking something, a new recipe, gardening, sitting down and just reading a book. Wherever you find moments of total satisfaction and that feeling of upliftment or peace, you are now creating a frequency that says you're tied into the frequency of abundance. And that frequency is going to bring to you what you want from over there. Does that make sense to you? I hope so. Let me just pull a few cards. And let's go over here. Hi, hello. If you're watching this in a replay, please remember to share, like, subscribe, pass it along. All right, so the first card, I found it again, detachment. You have to let go of what you think you want and just be present in the moment, in more moments than ever before, because we're in a very powerful, you know, the solar flares, the Schumann frequency resonance, that we're purging the old from our cells. We're becoming more present, more compassionate. Our hearts are opening. And wherever we feel resistance, we need to back away. Just look at something pretty. That's all I'm saying. So detach. Doesn't mean you stop feeling when you detach. Okay. I like this one. Okay, awareness, because once you detach, you come into a greater awareness of what it can be, how it is, and where to go from there. Because if you were to look at that matrix and see that moving like a kaleidoscope, you are always at the center. There's your head at the top of the star, your arms, your legs, your heart is open. You are creating a frequency, and that frequency brings to you even more in the present moment. And then we'll just pull one final card on perhaps something that is a little more down to earth and how to negotiate the tougher moments in the retrogrades. For that, I'll do a solid shuffle. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being. I appreciate you. Now appreciate yourself even more. To make it a little simpler during the retrograde periods, so that if judgment comes up, especially in a Mercury in retrograde, you're not condemning or trying to make yourself feel better. What you're doing is realizing what you just attracted or where you have impatience with something or someone. And there's that moment you just want to like smooth out the wrinkles. So if you're starting to feel intensity, the intensity of the moment starts to build. We don't want to resort to old patterns, like the urge to just walk away, fly, get in the car and go without ever resolving the issue. You need to respond first to yourself. If you need to take a few minutes or a day or an hour and say, let me get back to you on that because I don't know how I feel. Or if someone says or does something that really bothers you, you say, this happens a lot, but don't wait to the explosion DEFCON 4 phase. Talk about it and say, I haven't said anything because, you were doing your thing and I figured, whatever. It's just easier if I just clean up the mess afterward. No, it's not, because you're holding it in and then it comes out passive aggressively. And then what do you create with that energy? I'm not going to tell you. You already know. You're that smart. All right, the final card on how to deal with this intensity through awareness and detachment. Two things came out, okay? Service and emotions. Here's emotion. Feel what you're feeling. It's energy in motion. Feel what you're feeling. And then service. There's the Virgo energy as well. And do not give at the sake of yourself. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about be a kind service to yourself. Be someone's opportunity. If someone has annoyed you or hurt you, you say, I need some time to think about it. But bottom line is you can have a defense, you can have a retort, you can have a reply, you can, one up them. But bottom line is, you feel what you feel and I honor that. I don't agree. And I don't understand why we didn't talk about this sooner. And I don't understand why I didn't notice this sooner. Maybe I wasn't present. So you want to be very gracious, of course. And then when you're in service to others and you are donating your time or your money or your energy or your resources, yes, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. If you have the need to tell other people, oh yeah, I donated like $5,000 to that thing. It's like, okay. There's a part of you that is looking for validation in that. Service at the sake of yourself is denial. Service to receive accolades and validation is also a place of denial that you are insecure in some area. So I want you to really examine your behavior and bridge the gap. So if that is a behavior that you have, or someone who has, do two things a day, 2 good deeds a day, but only talk about one of them. So you're already 50% there of servicing your need and saying, it just feels good to donate. It just feels good to give my time. I don't need to tell anybody because it uplifted me. That's where you want to go, uplifting you. And then there's the people who carry like all the garbage for every other person around and they suffer silently. That's the flip side of that same energy. The service at the sake of yourself is denial. We are coming out of denial. Denial creates resistance. And and it causes physical ailments and illnesses. So what I want you to do during this retrograde period is really focus on how you feel, the emotion, the intensity, what you can do for yourself to back off away from the ledge of your sanity, and find something very simple to do. Simple and pleasing and satisfying and peaceful. And in that moment, you are building wealth. You are building wealth, because that moment creates a neuron in your brain that'll help you with vision, to see beyond where you are to where you're going. Because the only way to get to where you're going is to know what you want, and then also believe and trust that it's true and it can come to you, and that you don't have to work so hard anymore for it. Take a breath, a breather, relax, take a nap, have a cup of tea, smile. You are loved. Oh, and by the way, I would love for you to love that you are love. Thanks for being, folks. Thanks for being here. And I always appreciate you. And always, I wish you peace. And I'll see you on the 31st for your full moon in Pisces oracle reading.